Moin moin, Dawn Spector here. And today I have another keyboard review for you, and this time the Keychron K3, a sleek, compact, low profile, wireless mechanical keyboard by Keychron. And yeah, this bad boy comes in at I think like roughly $100, a bit below that, because here I have the version with optical switches and RGB. And yes, I did crowdfund it, and so overall I did pay I think like $70 or so. But yeah, currently will probably be expected to pay, as I said, approximately $100. And yes, then directly let's get to the unboxing here. The casing itself is pretty sleek and thin, and has this like stylized keyboard on top. Does look pretty neat. And when you open it, cardboard itself is relatively thin, but you would directly be greeted here with the quick start guide, which is always nice to have. Then there will be the manual, and below that, of course, the keyboard. And before we come to the keyboard, let's just remove that and see what accessories we got. And this USB cable here is braided, and it's unfortunately really short. It's like 1.2 meters long, and for my setup it misses at least like 30 centimeters. Probably 50 would be better, but yeah, 30 at least. And braiding itself is pretty decent, and yeah, there is no branding on the actual USB plugs here, so it's just a USB cable. You can replace it with anything else. Besides that, in the packaging you get a few additional keycaps. Those are the Mac caps here and an additional escape cap. And yes, as I'm not a Mac user, I obviously replaced the Mac caps with the Windows caps. And additionally, let's see if you can see it here, you do get one additional pair of rubber feet for the front. Not sure why the rubber feet for the back are missing, but that's how it is. Also included, you get a keycap puller, pretty much standard. And because I have the optical version, you can also hot swap the switches, and so you also get this neat little metal piece, which is the switch puller. Okay, so then let's remove the casing here and take a look at the keyboard itself. So yes, before I come later on to the other aspects of the board, like typing and connectivity and so on, I first go over the build quality here. And as you can see, this is relatively like sexy, thin, and yeah, it's really thin. If you've ever seen other mechanical like thin keyboards, this one definitely is one of the thinnest I've had so far. And this probably is due also partly to the switches, which are directly made from Keychron, and that are, I think, what did it say, like 10.7 millimeters tall or thin, depending on how you want to see it. So that's already pretty nice. And I think before I come to the top, I go over the bottom, because there isn't much to it here. It's just this like plastic board thing, and this actually feels pretty nice. It's like, I wouldn't say it's almost soft. It's not exactly soft because it's hard plastic, but it almost feels soft to the touch. And then you have these feet here in the same color scheme as the bottom plate, and those are rubber, so you will be at least a bit like moving proof here. And yeah, if you see that, just get a bit closer. Those are actually just glued in here. And yeah, the front feet, as I said, you did get one replacement pair. That's why I'm wondering why you didn't get a replacement pair for the back feet. Bit unfortunate, but okay, for this price, no deal breaker. And yeah, if we now turn it around, well, first we go to the back. Here you have a few additional switches. And let me get it to the right orientation here. So on the left side, obviously here you do get the on-off switch, which also changes between Bluetooth and cable mod, and then to the right of it, you do get the Windows and Windows/Android or Mac and iOS key, and those actually, they do have a pretty nice feel to it. They're relatively well made, especially for the price, and the orange color scheme here makes them also pretty well visible, even though the lighting conditions are not that good. Yeah, to the left side here, the Bluetooth actually does work pretty well, so just a small spoiler here. But I'm going more in detail on that later on. As cable, you do get a standard USB-C cable port here, so nothing fancy there. Fortunately, it's not recessed or anything, so you can just plug in any cable you would like. Then let's go to the front, or in general, I would say the casing. And here, yeah, I think for the price asked, it's really well made. The aluminium is really smooth here, and yes, this is actually aluminium, not plastic. There's no sharp corners whatsoever, like also at the bottom, like maybe you'll be able to see it here. There is a small edge here, so not that optimal, but still totally fine. And overall, like it's really smooth in usage here. Like there are no sharp corners whatsoever. It feels well made. And if I try to like bend it a bit, you can just see it does bend a tiny bit. But for this price, I think you do get a pretty like solidly made board. Yeah, just zooming in a bit. Zoom. Yeah, you can see there isn't like there are many imperfections here. Not sure if one is able to see it here in the camera. Beneath the escape key, there's like an additional screw hole which has been covered by another piece of aluminium. It's relatively, here, now you can see it there. That is the only thing I found which is not that nice, but yeah. I mean, at some place you have to have screws. It just becomes a bit weirder because here would be another screw. Let me just get it into view between those keys here. Can I somehow make it visible? Yeah, here. There's another screw which does not have this covering. And yeah, at the bottom here between X and C, there's another screw. And I'm not sure why this top screw has a cover and the other two don't. Well, details. Not that important for a keyboard of this price. Okay, then I would say, yeah, let's go to the keycaps. Yeah, and as you might have already seen, those keycaps are unfortunately not that nice. They are made from ABS plastic. Unfortunately, it's just printed. And yeah, after using it for like, I think a bit more than a month or so on a daily basis, some parts of the keycaps already start to become a bit glossy. Fortunately, the legends are readable pretty nicely when we talk about the gray keycaps. And also the actual lighting through the keycaps, at least again on the gray ones, does work pretty well. But when we talk about the orange keycaps, well, they unfortunately do not absorb enough light, and the light of the LED in the back just shines through in a rough halo around the top half of the keycap. Also, their legends is readable pretty badly, which is probably due to the bright orange being mixed with white legends. Yeah, just not an overall good idea. Material thickness wise, the keycaps are on the rather thin side of things. And yes, they are printed, so if you scratch them, you will just scratch off the print and then there will be just some like whitish, milky plastic left. Profile-wise, these keycaps are obviously low profile. But even from that, they are on the relatively thin side of things, their height probably being just like 3 mm at best. Additionally, they're slightly angled and a bit bent in the middle, which overall makes typing on those, I think, pretty nicely. Turning them around also reveals no sharp corners or edges, and additionally no real machine marks. So yeah, I think the main problem here is just the printed ABS plastic. If they would have chosen something else, it would have been much better, but yeah, overall keycaps are pretty okay only. For the next chapter I'll sum up layout, switches and typing. And of course I'll be starting off with layout. And as layout here, they've used a pretty much standard NZ 75% layout, with multimedia keys being available via the function button at the top row. Unfortunately, no other layouts are offered. So if you are like me from Germany and you're more used to the German layout, well, yeah, you're out of luck and you will have to get used to the ANSI layout. So then, let's come to switches. And yeah, the general switch selection on the site for the Keychron is pretty decent, I would say. In general, you can choose between the Gateron low profile switches, which are available in red, blue, brown, white, black and orange. And second of course, and probably also the one most people will be curious to try out, are the actual Keychron produced low profile optical switches. And those are also available in the same colors, meaning you could get them in red, blue, brown, white, black and orange. For me personally, that led me to choose the optical brown switches, because I do like tactile switches quite a bit more than just linear switches, and yeah, with clicky they don't work for me. I need a bit of more quiet operation. So then the question, how do the optical brown switches type? And yeah, maybe because my expectations have been pretty low, or maybe because those switches are actually pretty decent, I would say typing on the optical brown switches is actually quite fun. Even though those are low profile, you still get a decent amount of travel. And also the tactile point in the middle is more noticeable than I thought it would be. Of course it's not super tactile, but especially compared to Cherry Brown switches, which most people apparently don't like, but I never really had a problem with them, I think the tactile point here is at least like 10% more noticeable than on the Brown switches. Fortunately, the additional tactileness, not sure if that word even exists in English, does not come with additional noise level. I think I would even say actually the Keychron optical browns I have here are more quiet than my usual brown boards I did try in the last recent years. And with that I mean quite a bit quieter. Meaning overall I would compare the optical browns here more to something like silent switches, or at least a not optimal implementation of silent switches. For example, on the last, the Durgod Fusion I had here. Those had, of course, linear, the silent black switches, but still, I think the overall noise level here on the Keychron K3 has been a bit lower. I mean, that's probably due to the missing metal bling noise you had with the Durgod. But yes, overall I did like the noise level here with the optical brown switches. Adding to that, the Keychron switches also seems to be stabilized pretty well. So even if you hit the edge of the switch, they are still feeling pretty wobble-less. And yes, this is probably due to the actual stem being really wide, but I did like it, and I do overall enjoy typing on the keyboard, like especially when I just want to type text. But listen for yourself. The upcoming footage was recorded with an Audio-Technica AT2020 USB set to 95%, and then I additionally increased the level to 150% in my editing software. So yeah, enjoy! Also fortunately, or I would say almost fortunately, is that the Keychron optical switches have cherry stamps. And I say almost fortunately because, unfortunately, Keychron decided to go for their own stabilizers, meaning you will not be able to fit your regular standard cherry style keycaps on the K3. That's a bit of a bummer, because as I already said, the standard keycaps here are not that nice. And the bad news do not end here, because even though the Keychron K3 with optical switches claims they have hot swappable switches, well yeah, you can only mount these switches actually produced by Keychron. Meaning if you have some other low profile switches, for example Gatorons, you will not be able to hot swap them. Fortunately, the used stabilizers here are pretty nice. They're not the best thing ever. I think even at this price point you can get some other boards which use better stabilizers, but for the price ask and the low profile nature of this keyboard, I think the stabilizers are pretty good. Yeah, and that directly brings me to the last point of my review, and that is probably software and battery. And lighting, of course, because yes, it's RGB. First I start off with software, and yeah, I can sum up this pretty shortly. There is no software. Which is probably a shame, because they have RGB lighting, which would have actually been suited for software, where you can program your own lighting schemes and maybe even modify the standard colors, because yeah, again, white here is not white, which is what I seriously don't like about keyboards which claim we have white coloring with RGB, and then the white is just pink. It's just annoying. And this also kind of like ideally fits into where the battery life, which is said to be 34 hours with a single LED, which I can kind of confirm with red lighting. With white lighting, however, battery life was definitely a bit worse than that, and with effects, yeah, obviously also not as good as that. Added to that, the keyboard also has, I think, like I would call it a standby problem. If you don't use it for like 10 minutes or so, it directly turns to a standby mode, which is first a good thing, but then if you wake it up again, it takes like 5 to 10 seconds to wake up, which is quite annoying if you just go to your computer again after like getting yourself in bread or something, and my keyboard is dead for a few seconds and you keep typing and nothing happens. Yeah, and as I said, this ties back to software, because if I would have software, I could personalize these numbers. I could say, oh, I just want 1 second of wake up time after I started it, or maybe 20 if I'm pretty slow. Doesn't matter, but those are things combined with lighting which would have been really nice to set in software personally. And yeah, as last paragraph of this review, lighting. It said they do use RGB lighting and the LEDs are at the top of the switch, and overall I think lighting is bright enough and the standard effects included here are variant enough. My personal favorite being the color circle, if I would choose RGB, because I think most of the time I would choose white lighting, but unfortunately this is kind of pink here as well, so most of the time I actually choose the off effect, which is by far the best effect on this keyboard. So yes, and that brings me to the verdict. Would I recommend the Keychron K3? And unfortunately the answer here is, well, it depends. If you wanted to get the K3 because it has hot swappable switches and because it has Cherry MX compatible stamps, well no, then you should not get this keyboard. You will not be able to mount your own switches and you will not be able to mount your own keycaps. However, if you are just after a low profile keyboard which also has RGB lighting and wireless mod, well yeah, why not? The Keychron K3 actually does deliver on that front pretty decently, and you can actually also like lightly game with the Bluetooth mod. Obviously I would not recommend it for competitive, but for light gaming I think the delay is totally fine here and you will not notice it in normal day usage. But unfortunately here again, the missing software, so you cannot personalize your lighting, will probably also be a bummer for most people who actually want the RGB effects of the Keychron K3.